Okay. Everybody was telling me today about this as if I didn't know already. Yeah, two things. The Nikon isn't going to bring out the DL cameras, which is a really good idea. I've been saying that since day one. Now, what people don't understand is when Nikon announced an extraordinary loss, it actually doesn't mean a damn thing. Why not? The reason for that is accounting talk for communicating to the stockholders that describes an unusual loss, like when the huge hurricane hits in Thailand. They also call that an extraordinary loss. It was something that it was unusual, and it wasn't caused by their normal operations. Specifically, that had nothing to do with their cameras. It had to do with the lithography end of their business. So anybody that's talking, some sort of anti-Nikon fanboy, and I don't carry any water for Nikon. When Nikon does stupid shit, I'll never apologize for Nikon. But all these people saying, oh, this is proof Nikon's going down. No, it doesn't prove a damn thing, and it's not even connected to their cameras, damn it. It's connected to their lithography business. Nikon's just cutting some fat and some BS off his business. Their restructuring was around their lithography business anyway. That's not to say that Nikon doesn't make a lot of huge current mistakes, and I'll certainly list those. So far as the DL, that camera, those 3 cameras were delayed for, over a year now. Everybody kept asking me, what about the Nikon DS? That's a piece of shit. Nikon shouldn't bring that crap out. Sony owns those little stupid-ass bridge cameras, and I've owned a couple of them. I've owned the Mark I and I owned the Mark III. Sony owns those little stupid-ass bridge cameras. They're better featured, obviously so. They don't hold together for very long. The Nikon little point-and-shoot cameras, they were always little turd cameras. And, Nikon did a smart move by not bringing those things out. It doesn't mean that, Nikon is like, suffering and starving that they're not going to bring out those deals. It was a smart move. Someone at Nikon, it's not just someone, some group at Nikon realized we shouldn't be bringing out these things. Sony owns this market. We're not going to compete with them with our stupid little damn bridge cameras. Really smart move, Nikon. And of course, Nikon's made a lot of stupid moves. Like failures from last year. The Nikon D5 was a failure. I said it was a failure immediately. I think I was one of the first people to do a review on a consumer Nikon D5. Everybody said it was full of crap, but I was totally proven right. Nobody's talking about the D5. Not because it's really expensive, because it's a loser. Nikon has sold the bejesus hell out of the Nikon D500, just as I predicted. Also the D7200, they're selling the hell out of those things. Sony has nothing to compete. Canon doesn't have anything to compete. Canon sensors suck ass. The hugest failure last year was Canon's new 5D Mark IV. That camera is even the hardcore Canon fanboys were like, gee, we waited 4 years for this piece of crap? The video files are absolutely titanic and unusable. We don't talk about failure. Let's talk about Canon's failures. Nikon actually rolled out a lot of good stuff last year. GoPros, their little GoPro copies, their little 360 mission, those 3 little mission cameras, those are pieces of crap. The 360 is the worst. I think it's got like a rating of like 1 star on Amazon. It's a piece of crap. Nikon needs to hire some hardcore software and application people. Nikon needs to take X number of millions of dollars and find some true wizards to write iOS interfaces and application interfaces for the like SnapBridge. SnapBridge is a total goddamn failure. I don't really give a crap about that. Everybody else that loves their D500 and how it performs. You can't transfer huge-ass RAW files to your iPhone. I don't want that crap. Would it be nice if SnapBridge worked? Yeah. Am I apologizing for Nikon? No, because I don't give a flying poop in hell about a stupid transfer program so I could transfer crappy little JPEGs from my pro DSLR to my iPhone so I could upload them for other douchebags on Facebook to look at. I mean, really stupid. I mean, it's a pro DSLR. I mean, that stuff should work on the D3000 and D5000 series cameras, where all the little dinkies. People that want something better than an iPhone and better than a bridge camera. It should work perfectly on those cameras, but I don't give a damn if it's on a D500. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, to hell with that. I mean, if you're worried about snap bridge working on your D500, you're just an idiot. You're a flat-out idiot. Couldn't give a crap. Hi, I just bought a professional DSLR with a $2,000 lens on it, but I want to transfer some low-resolution JPEGs via Wi-Fi to my iPhone. Well, you're an idiot, aren't you? But it's still a failure. SnapBridge is a failure. Nikon always has been, unfortunately, and this is a serious problem Nikon has, they've always been stuck up as hell. Nikon's the best, and they know they're the best, especially when it comes to their glass. They've got really, really bad customer relations. They always have. If you actually talk to anybody that's been peddling Nikons for a large number of years, they'll tell you the same. Nikon's really, really, really stuck up. They're very, very horribly arrogant company to work for. Nikon, at its very heart, is a serious issue is they have an IBM mentality. We're too big to fail. F you, we're Nikon. That literally is how Nikon corporate operate. I hate to say that. I mean, I love Nikon. I mean, I'll get a Nikon tattoo right here. Nikon's gotten so much of my money over 20 years. Nikon has gotten a lot of my money. Just because I love Nikon doesn't mean I'll call them out for their stupidity. Nikon's very heart and core is an IBM mentality. We're too big to fail. F you, we make the best, so go piss off. You should feel privileged to be able to own our stuff. That literally is how Nikon works. That's not an exaggeration either. It's not. They've always been that way. They're really, really horribly arrogant. Now, they do have good customer service. Your crap breaks down. I mean, we're not talking about, the crap. Sony doesn't even fix their own cameras. They got the worst customer service on earth. I mean, we're talking about a different level there. But they don't even have glass either. I mean, they don't make any lenses. So, I mean, this is not bad like people think it is. Great. Nikon did what I said a year ago. I said they shouldn't make those stupid-ass little bridge cameras, those little DL pieces of crap. Well, thank God. Nikon is smart enough to realize that, hey, we shouldn't be making these pathetic losers. Let people buy a Sony bridge camera. We're going to focus on what's important. If Nikon made those DL cameras, then... See, you people have it backwards. Like, oh, crap, Nikon's not making these crappy little point-and-shoot cameras. And I'm like, well, that's a good thing. If Nikon did make those things, then I'd be like, holy crap, Nikon actually made these little pieces of shit. So, good one for Nikon. So you people have it backwards, upside down, and inside out. That's a good thing. But Nikon's extraordinary loss, those are exact words from Nikon, has to do with their lithography industry. A big deal. It's a huge company with many tentacles, and they're restructuring their lithography, which was a loser. So what? So what? Yeah, Nikon's just cutting some of the fat. What Nikon should have done, instead of making those little point-and-shoot pieces of crap, they should have come out with a hardcore competitor to the X100F. Are you listening, Nikon? What you should have done, and Nikon is fully capable of doing it, is come out with something that is a challenge to the X100F. The X100F isn't even out yet, and it has had the bejesus sold out of it. It's got a leaf shutter. It's got a real high-end fixed 23mm lens. That whole pro market of a compact little leaf shutter camera that's made out of metal, Nikon could have kicked Fuji's ass. I mean, they could have. But they didn't. They spent a year pissing and farting around and scratching their crotch over a little point-and-shoot garbage Nikon DLs, and now they're canceled. Good. You should have been spending that time coming up with a rivals like, Fuji's got this neat little camera. It's got a leaf shutter and a fixed lens. I mean, us at Nikon, we could have actually developed that thing. There's a magic space that sits between the really hardcore stuff and the shitty little bridge cameras. Even if they're higher quality bridge cameras, that magic spot which basically nobody owns now except for Fujifilm, like with the X100F, the X100T. Nikon could have actually, stuck their neck into that business, but they didn't. So, this is good news. There's nothing bad about it. If Nikon was, hanging by their fingertips, I'd be the first person to say it, but they're not. They ditched some crap they never should have messed with to begin with, those little stupid bridge cameras, and they're writing off their lithography industry. The extraordinary loss is describing a rare loss that's unusual and was unanticipated. It is specific financial speak of accountants talking to shareholders of Nikon Incorporated. The same thing happened when the floods from the hurricanes, the tidal waves, hit Thailand and wiped out the Nikon factories in Thailand. That was called extraordinary too. It's no big deal. Nikon's not in trouble, and ditching those stupid little dumb cameras was a really good idea. Nikon does have some serious issues, though. They're stuck up as hell. They have a really, really poor advertising team. While they do have good customer service, their customer relations suck ass. They should hire me. I'd come in, I'd fire every one of those assholes, especially their advertising team, which is absolutely abysmal. I could turn that place around overnight. Oh, I can assure you I can. That's not bluster talk. But that's never going to happen, of course. As the first thing I would do is I would fire their advertising team, and then I would come up with a new restructuring plan for customer relations. I already got the best damn product. There's nothing to compete with Nikon D500. Nothing! Canon's shitty glass is no competition for Nikon's glass. And what has Canon got, like, relative to the 200 to 500 millimeter? Or their 300 millimeter primes, which are the best in the industry. Now, Canons are a lot lighter, which is why they use them in sporting events, but Canon doesn't have anything to compete with Nikon. And the new 70 to 200 Nikon, absolutely the best out there, period, bar none, flat out. Nobody's got any competition for Nikon when it comes to the serious glass. What are you going to do? Buy a damn Sony? What the hell do they got? They don't even make glass. They don't even make decent cameras. They don't even fix their own cameras. So all these people are like, oh my God, it's bad news for Nikon. It's like, you're an idiot. No, it's not. So that's the news on Nikon. Nikon! But Nikon does make some stupid mistakes. Those stupid little GoPro things, failure. Snap bridge, failure. Nikon D5, failure. Nikon customer relations, failure. Advertising team, failure. No perfect company exists, Nikon thinks, well, it's been working so good for us, for these many years. Let's just keep on continuing to do this crap. Not a good idea. Nikon does have an IBM mentality. And how did that work out for IBM? Boom! Yeah, exactly.